Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Brad Bond in for Phil Gallagher. Also on the broadcast today are BNews Director Rich Hosford, reporters Robert Paris and John Viez, Peter Brown with the weather, Maddie Shipka with the community calendar, and John Visioni with sports. Let's go to the news. Death of a 6-month-old girl who was under her care by shaking spoke in her own defense in court this week. Pallavi Makarla, 44, said she tried to save 6-month-old Ridhima after the baby started having difficulties breathing after being fed homemade applesauce that her mother had prepared. She wasn't breathing, she had labored breathing, Makarla is saying in the Middlesex Superior Court. All I was thinking was to bring her back to breathing. As reported on B News, authorities say that on Thursday, March 27th in 2014, Ridhima was left in the care of Makarla, a neighbor who regularly provided child care for the baby. At approximately 2:40 p.m., Makarla called the baby's mother to say the baby was not breathing. The mother drove to Makarla's home and saw the babysitter performing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on her daughter, who was limp and unresponsive. The mother immediately called 911 and the baby was transported to Leahy Hospital and then to Boston Children's Hospital, where she was pronounced dead 3 days later. Middlesex District Attorney's office contends that Makarla caused the baby's death by either shaking and/or blunt force trauma to the head. Prosecutors suggested in court that the caregiver may have become frustrated with the baby's crying and shook her. Makarla maintained that the baby had stopped breathing after eating the applesauce and that she did all she could to save her. She said the applesauce was not smooth and had very small pieces of apple in it. She also testified that Ridhima was unusually tired that day and had taken a longer nap than normal. Dr. Anna McDonald, who performed an autopsy on the baby, initially determined the baby died from abusive head trauma and excessive shaking, but later said she was no longer convinced the death was a homicide. In 2016, she said that after reviewing reports from the defense, she said she came to believe the child died from cardiac arrest. However, her supervisor at the time, Dr. Henry Niels, testified he saw no signs of any disease or anything else that would explain the death. He said the autopsy suggests either impact with an object or multiple impacts. If convicted of first-degree murder, Makarla faces life in prison without parole. Well, the town of Burlington will purchase a foreclosed home with the goal of seeking donations to renovate it and then sell it as affordable housing. Assessor Jim Doherty was at Monday night's Board of Selectmen meeting to discuss the purchase and sale of 117 South Bedford Street. The purchase was initially going to part of a special town meeting in this month's annual town meeting, but because town meeting members already voted last September to approve the sale, that is no longer necessary. During that session, town meeting voted to appropriate $250,000 for the purpose of purchasing the property. However, now the town is seeking to purchase it for a mere $150,000, Town Administrator Paul Sagarino said. Doherty said the plan is to use as little taxpayer money on the project as possible, despite the fact that the home will likely require a total gut and rehabilitation before it can be used as affordable housing. He said he hopes the majority of the funds and materials for the rebuild will hopefully come from donations. He said there are a lot of people and companies looking to make an impact in the community, and this project would be a great way for them to do it. Doherty also said that this was a good opportunity to meet the ever-growing need for affordable housing in town. The Board of Selectmen voted 4-0-0 to enter into the purchase and sale agreement. Well, for people or companies looking to build, renovate, or add an addition to a building in Burlington, gone are the days of piles of paperwork. The town has launched a new online system to make the process faster and more efficient. BNews Director Rich Hosford went to check it out and has this report.
For many years now, applying for a permit to build a new home or building, add an addition, make renovations, or really anything that had to be approved by a municipal government required a lot of paperwork and a lot of time. In an attempt to streamline the process, Burlington has created a new online permitting system that can be accessed through the Building Department or Zoning Board of Appeals sections of the town website.
It really is designed to streamline and kind of cut down the back and forth that people have to do if they are doing a building project. Anytime they start a project, there are required elements, things like building plans, contractors, insurance permits, all of those kinds of things are required as they're submitting. And then they can go online at any time and see where their project is. They're alerted as to when an inspector will be going out, so they know that need to have things ready. And after the final inspection, they will get all of their occupancy permits and everything electronically.
As well as making it easier for residents, contractors, and developers, the new system is also more convenient for Burlington employees, both in their offices and at sites, as shown by Senior Building Inspector John Luther, who took me out on an inspection and demonstrated how updates can be made in real time from the field.
Take my tablet out, I click on my inspection. It's already scheduled in for me. So I begin my inspection. I look to make sure everything is done correctly. I complete my inspection, and I'll go in and add an attachment. So I'll upload a picture. Now I save that photo, and it attaches to the permit. So now the contractor of the job just got an email saying that I'm here doing my inspection, and there's a picture of what I'm seeing.
This is a big improvement over the old ways of doing things.
It used to be I would have a blue piece of paper with me, and I'd make a note on it, and I'd go back to the office, input all the information into the computer, and the contractor would have to be here for me to sign his permit card. So now I electronically sign their permit card by doing all my tablet work. So now this way we just, we do it all electronically, and they get notified right away.
From a Burlington construction site, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
So computers can actually be useful once in a while. Very good. Thanks, Rich. Well, starting next week, town meeting will be voting on a wide variety of articles, some of which include significant amounts of funding. One article on the warrant is the annual capital budget projects made up of requests from various departments for new equipment, vehicles, or facilities and repairs to existing buildings or systems. In total, this fiscal year 20 the capital requests add up to roughly $2.9 million, with $1.5 million coming from the town side and $1.4 million coming from the school side. Some of the big ticket items are worth a look. The Department of Public Works is seeking $480,000 for its vehicle replacement program to replace old and out-of-date pieces of equipment. They say they need to replace a 2001 sander truck that is over 80,000 miles, a front-end loader that is 22 years old, and a buildings and cemeteries truck that has 150,000 miles. The DPW also has a proposal for $220,000 to repair the roof at the Burlington Public Library that's been experiencing leaks due to its age. The roof is original to the building back in 1995. The Recreation Department is seeking $220,000 to replace the electrical system for the lights at the Simons Park tennis courts and skate park. According to the backup material, the current light system was damaged during a repaving project and a repair was made. During the repair, it was discovered that the electrical system had deteriorated and was unsafe to continue to operate, and that the entire system would have to be replaced. The school department is seeking $200,000 to purchase the equipment, furniture, and supplies to implement the Computer Science for All curriculum in the middle school and high school. The program gives students an opportunity to learn about computers, programming, support, and other related subjects. There's also a request for $140,000 to replace floors, restroom partitions, privacy screens, lighting, mirrors, and plumbing fixtures in Francis Wyman School bathrooms. The bathrooms, which see a lot of use, are in disrepair. The department is also seeking $225,000 for new air conditioning units at Francis Wyman Elementary School. The 14 units will be installed in classrooms on the first floor of the school, and each room will have separate cooling controls. This is the third phase of installing air conditioning in the school. For a breakdown of all the capital project requests, please visit bcattv.org/bnews. Temple Shalom Ameth held their annual Holocaust Remembrance ceremony. This year, Speaker Agnes Bales told her story of being a 5-year-old Jewish girl when the Nazi forces arrived in Budapest, where she lived with her parents and brother, and she spoke about what should be learned from history. BNews Director Rich Hosford has this look.
There was a somber atmosphere at Temple Shalom Emeth last Friday night as temple members, town and district officials, and special guests gathered for the annual Holocaust Memorial Service. This year, the Speaker of Honor was Holocaust survivor Agnes Bales, who lived in Budapest, Hungary, and at the age of 5 had her life thrown upside down by a series of events after the German Nazi forces arrived in her city. First, her father was forced into a labor camp, leaving her mother alone with her and her older brother. Then, she watched as her mother was led away at gunpoint with a group of other women and, unknown to her till after the war, transported to a concentration camp in Germany. She and her brother ended up in a ghetto with their aunt, which was also overcrowded and had limited food and water, but was made much worse after the main buildings were destroyed in an air raid. After that, they all lived in the shelter, finding what food they could and trying to survive. They did this until Soviet forces arrived and the ghetto was liberated. Agnes said she decided to share her story, which she refused to talk about for many years, because she wants to keep the memory of what happened alive in the hopes that nothing like it will ever happen again.
So that it wouldn't happen again, because it could. People forget. And when my generation is gone, I'm 81, but I'm probably among the youngest who have personal memories. And when my generation is gone, it will be all hearsay. And then people can really say it never happened, considering they're already saying it never happened.
One special guest was Middlesex District Attorney Marian Ryan, who says Agnes's story, like so many from the Holocaust, have an important lesson about confronting hate when it manifests.
Well, I think it's an understanding of how things happen when no one speaks up to stop them. As she told the story, and things got worse and worse and worse. And clearly there were people who were not Jewish in those communities who either were afraid, unwilling, or didn't realize how difficult things were getting and didn't intervene.
This is a lesson people should keep in mind today, D.A. Ryan said.
The way in which it grows unchecked when people don't take a stand against it, and how important it is for people of all faiths to come together and realize that hatred does not have a place in our communities.
Finally, Agnes says she has one message she hopes people take away from her talk.
Just to be more mindful, to fight against people hating each other and people trying to destroy each other.
On BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
The newly opened Blackbird Cafe offers unique breakfast options all day, serves gourmet coffee, and features a robust lunch menu. BNews reporter Robert Paris went to check it out and has this report.
A new eatery where you can order delicious all-day breakfast and lunch has just opened its doors in Burlington. This week, I headed down to a brand new restaurant, Blackbird Cafe, located at 101 Middlesex Turnpike Plaza.
Blackbird Cafe has opened its doors in Groton, Massachusetts in 2010, and we opened a second location in Acton, Massachusetts in 2017, and we are new to Burlington this year.
The cafe offers a wide variety of unique and creative breakfast items as well as lunch alternatives.
We do a lot of fresh breakfast, lunch food all day, and full coffee, espresso, and tea. And we've just brought a new kind of fresh menu with lots of bowl, burrito, omelet, salad options to town, and we're really excited to be here, as well as our catering menu as well.
Blackbird has introduced a new menu for the Burlington community.
We are excited to have a new menu that we've brought to Burlington, and we're opening in our other locations. A lot of people are looking for healthier options, quinoa bowls, salads, wraps, everything's fresh, made to order, and we're really excited to bring that to the market here as well as to our other locations.
Finally, the owners want to treat every hungry customer with good food and hospitality.
The customer experience is very important to us. We love our customers. We have grown to know a lot of our customers by name. They're regulars, and we really care about the experience that they have. We want them to keep coming back and to have a wonderful experience when they're here. Great service, great food. Everything we make is fresh. We really strive to bring in the highest quality food and coffee and teas, and bringing that to our customers is important because they are our family and our friends in our community. So
We see Burlington as a great opportunity to grow our catering business and really just expand our footprint and get the good food and coffee that we've been providing in the communities to a greater market.
From Blackbird Cafe, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Thanks, Robert. Well, a Burlington police officer and a veteran of Operation Enduring Freedom has been given a promotion for his hard work and extensive training. Chief Michael Kent said on Monday night that he was pleased to recommend the promotion of Christopher B. DiDonato, a member of the Burlington Police Department's Patrol Division, to the rank of sergeant. During his recommendation, Chief Kent said that Sergeant DiDonato has worked as a patrol officer with the department since 2012, a role in which he has excelled. He has overseen training for fellow officers in firearm use and tactics, demonstrated his capabilities as a leader, and developed a strong understanding of de-escalation techniques that help keep potentially dangerous situations under control. He is a Burlington High School grad and the son of Ruth DiDonato and the late Daniel DiDonato. He currently resides in Wilmington with his wife Mandy and their daughters Hannah and Isabel. Sergeant DiDonato has also undergone extensive training in a broad range of categories, from special weapons and tactics, active shooter response, fitness for law enforcement officers, and best practices for testifying in court. He is also a member of the Northeast Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council's SWAT team. From 2008 to 2016, Sergeant DiDonato served as an infantry sergeant in the Massachusetts Army National Guard and was deployed in Afghanistan from 2010 to 2012 as part of Operation Enduring Freedom. While in Afghanistan, Sergeant DiDonato commanded the lead vehicle in his convoy and was tasked with navigation during patrol operations. He also conducted operations with units of the Army Special Forces, Navy, and Air Force, and served as a trainer and mentor for his subordinates. Congratulations on the promotion. Well, on May the 4th, young Padawans traveled to the town common for Jedi training in honor of May the 4th being Star Wars Day. BNews reporter John Vias was there and has this report.
The force was strong once again with the Burlington Parks and Rec Department, as young Padawans made their way to the town common once again for May the 4th, a day in celebration of Star Wars. The afternoon started off with the return of Jedi Master Jim, a man well experienced in the ways of the Force, leading a Jedi training academy with various obstacle courses.
Today is Burlington's Jedi training. We are training the young Padawans in Burlington. Children are encouraged to come out. They have 5 or 6 challenges, and once they complete those, they'll have the chance to do a lightsaber duel with me. My job is to train young Padawans. We use training lightsabers. We used to use real lightsabers, but my class would always go to pieces, so we stick with the regular lightsabers now.
Another fun activity consists of a feeding frenzy for Jabba the Hutt. Although he owes no debt to the galaxy's most powerful gangster, Rec Director Brendan Egan ran the table.
Our goal is to overfeed Jabba the Hutt with our frogs and see how many frogs we can get into Jabba's mouth.
I asked him about the changes made this year in comparison to last year's Revenge of the Fifth.
The weather's about the same as last year. We have a couple different events. We don't have characters this year, but I think there's enough events going around that will occupy everyone's time.
We have great Padawans. I would say there's definitely a step up in the level of expertise.
From a trio of theatrical film trilogies, the most recent concluding this upcoming December, and a galaxy's worth of TV shows, novels, comic books, and video games, among many things, George Lucas's epic space saga is a cultural phenomenon. Whether you're with the rebellion or on the dark side, Star Wars has resonated with people of all ages for over 4 decades.
It brings me back to my childhood. I grew up with Star Wars. This is a great opportunity for families to come out. You can see passing down Star Wars to new generations, just as I did with my son.
You know, as a Jedi Knight, it's a calling. It's ability to use the Force and energy to affect positive behavior in the universe.
From a galaxy far, far away to the Burlington Town Common, I'm John Vias for BNEWS Weekly. May the 4th be with you.
Ba-dum-bum. Thank you, John. The VHS Wind Ensemble recently took a trip to Bellingham to perform for the Massachusetts Instrumental and Choral Conductors Association. BNews reporter John Vias went to learn more about the group and has this report.
The BHS Wind Ensemble is the premier wind performing group at Burlington High School, a course curriculum that establishes and further develops individual practice skills and ensemble rehearsal techniques through the performance of modern wind band repertoire. I asked BHS music teacher Sean Bucksbaum about the audition process.
Each year during end of March, beginning of April, students will audition for the wind ensemble, which is typically comprised of upperclassmen. So students will play a chromatic scale on their instrument, they'll do a prepared excerpt, and they'll do sight reading. And that's similar to what our district and state level associations will require of them. So they have to prepare all that material just to be able to get into and perform with the wind ensemble. They spend time not only during the school day, but also after school putting together rehearsals and also working with guest clinicians that we bring in to work specifically with the students from around the area.
On Friday, April 5th, the ensemble recently took a trip to Bellingham to perform for the Massachusetts Instrumental and Choral Conductors Association.
So while we were there, we had a chance to perform with other bands, not against other bands, so we don't actually get ranked against them like we would at a marching band competition. What we perform with other bands at a festival, we are adjudicated by college professors and music educators from all around the country. We have the opportunity to do a clinic with one of those individuals after we're done performing.
Mr. Buxbaum says that music plays an important role at BHS, with multiple programs and the talents of many a student.
Between the wind ensemble, the symphonic band, percussion, our winter guard program, our choral program, our jazz band, we have lots of offerings here at BHS that are very important not only to our department but also to the community and to the school. And I hope that people get a chance to check them out and to see what all the groups are capable of.
From the BHS Music Room, I'm John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown in our Weather Center for the latest forecast, and then we'll also check out the community calendar with Maddie Shipka to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days, and I hope you all got a chance to go out there and enjoy those couple of sunny days and that really nice warm day we had a few days ago here in the Burlington area, because looking ahead to our next period coming up, looks like we're going to have more of the same in terms of rain and cool weather coming. Now this is going to be reflected starting out on Friday, starting our period, starting not too bad, temperatures in the mid-60s, but again, below average for this time of the year. We should be hitting up into the upper 60s to near 70 by this time in May. And our evening lows are going to be about average for this time of the year. Nothing too chilly, but that may change as well, too, as we get into the start in the middle of next week. We're, again, going to be very, very far away from this record high of 90. And in fact, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting anywhere near those types of temps anytime in the foreseeable future. Now, as we round out our week getting into the middle of May, we're expecting average temperatures to be near 70 at this time of the year, and looks like we're going to probably be pretty far from that, unfortunately. So for those of you who really like the warm weather, this is, again, not really going to be the type of week for you. The only thing that reminds us that we actually are in spring heading towards summer is the days keep getting longer. So that's, I guess, the one bright part of this entire forecast. Now, as we go ahead, we're going to take a little bit of a look at what we're expecting in terms of our temperatures and precip for the next week or so. And again, this is going to be nothing new to us over the past 7 to 8 weeks. Again, up here in the Burlington area and most of New England, and in fact, most of the lower 48, we're looking at a chance of above average precipitation. And that, of course, is going to be reflected when we go and look at our 7-day in a few moments here. Now, as we go ahead, we're going to take a look at what we're expecting for our temperatures for the next 7 days as well. And again, no surprise here. Now, the Climate Prediction Center is kind of calling for us here in the Burlington area and most of southern New England to have maybe a chance of being around average. We're going to be looking at that probably as a possibility, but I think we're going to probably be on the cooler side of things. And again, if you are looking for above average temperatures, head down to the deep south or out to the west coast. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at some of those temperatures and weather coming up, and this is, of course, going to include that all-important forecast for Mother's Day coming up on Sunday. Again, starting our period on Friday, we're going to be seeing, again, that chance of rain coming into the picture. Again, nothing new here, as we've seen for the past almost 2 months, with temperatures in the low to mid-60s. Now, if you can get out and enjoy any of the days on this weekend coming up, it looks like, unfortunately, Saturday is going to really be the pick of the weekend coming up. We're going to see temperatures in the mid, maybe upper 60s. Looks like mostly sunny skies, but unfortunately, as we head towards Sunday into Mother's Day, looks like that chance of rain is going to move in probably by the early afternoon. And look at this, temperatures going way back down. 56 may actually be kind of warm for a prediction. We may not get maybe much above 52 or 53 in the Burlington area. And then look at this. The rain just continues all the way out into Wednesday. Now, Tuesday is going to be a little bit interesting. Looking at some of the models that I was looking at when we were putting this forecast together, If we see some precipitation come in early enough on Tuesday, there is a chance, if you're actually not too far away from us, if you're going up into southern and central New Hampshire, we could actually see a little bit of snowflakes early in the morning Tuesday mixing in with this rain. And look at this. I'm only expecting temperatures to get into maybe the low to mid 40s on Tuesday. A real cold, real raw day out there, especially for this late in May. And look at this as we go into the nighttime. Temperatures way down into the 30s. And of course, our below average temperatures are going to continue even as we get into Thursday with maybe a little breaks, maybe some breaks in the clouds with a little bit of sun. Temperatures climbing back up into the low 60s. But this is going to be setting the stage for what looks like another pretty big rainstorm as we start off next Friday and going into the next weekend. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a happy Mother's Day.
I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your Community Calendar. He was an undercover agent for the FBI, and now he'll tell the untold stories. On Thursday, May 16th at 7 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having a presentation called Ghost, My 30 Years as an FBI Undercover Agent. As an undercover FBI agent, Michael McGowan has been recognized at the highest levels of the FBI and the Department of Justice. In this talk, McGowan shares his first perspective of how cases went down in the FBI. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. For more information, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1695. Get ready for a night of dancing. On Friday, May 17th from 7 to 11 p.m., the town of Burlington will be having their annual event, Dancing with the Burlington Stars. Held at the Crown Plaza in Woburn, and all proceeds will be donated to the dancers' charity of their choice. Everyone is welcome. For more information, visit the Dancing with the Burlington Stars Facebook page. I caught one! On Saturday, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having their annual Family Fishing Festival at the Mill Pond Reservoir. The event is catch and release only. Please bring your own fishing equipment or use the provided equipment. A fishing license is not required, but pre-registration is. For more information and to register, visit burlingtonrecreation.org or call 781-270-1695. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your Community Calendar.
The season continues, and the BHS teams are playing hard. For the latest Red Devils action, we go to BNEWS sports reporter Joe Viscioni for this week's sports report.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Viscioni for your weekly sports report. The spring sports season is heating up at BHS. The boys and girls track team traveled to Melrose to take on the Red Raiders on Wednesday afternoon. The Red Devils defeated Melrose by a score of 105-31, completing their regular season undefeated in the Middlesex League Freedom Division. Burlington seniors were 19-1 in the division titles during their 4 years on the team. Quite spectacular. Burlington wins were made by seniors Christian Boyachev in his performance in the mile, finishing at 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Junior Keenan Wilson completed the triple jump at 40 feet and 9 inches and 110 hurdles at 16. Other wins included senior Stephen Humphreys in the 400-meter race at 55.4, while Rashad Prakash finished the 800-meter at 1 minute and 57 seconds. The girls' track lost their matchup to the Red Raiders 69-67. Both teams will continue their seasons on the road. The Lady Devils will be heading to an invitational on Saturday. The Red Devils will take on the Sharon Eagles in their state's tournament on Saturday morning. Girls varsity lacrosse team faced off against the Lexington Minutemen on Tuesday afternoon. We have some highlights, so let's go check them out.
It was a beautiful spring day for the Lady Devils lacrosse team as they faced off against the Lexington Minutemen at Marshall Simons Middle School Brush Field on Tuesday afternoon. In the first half, the Lady Devils had a difficult time stopping the Minutemen as Lexington scored 12 points. Burlington scored 1 goal just before halftime. In the second half, Burlington came out onto the field with a lot of momentum as they came away with 9 goals. Lexington scored an additional 6 points. The final score was a close one, 16-10. Lexington. The Lady Devils will travel to Arlington to take on the Spy Ponders on Monday, May 13th at 4:15 p.m.
Boys lacrosse also faced off against Lexington as well. The Red Devils allowed the Minutemen offense to score 10 goals. Burlington managed to score 7 goals in the match, so the team lost an important one to Lexington 10-7. The team will play against the Stoneham Spartans on Tuesday, May 14th at 5 p.m. at Varsity Field. The boys and girls tennis teams took on the Arlington Spy Ponders on Wednesday. Unfortunately, both teams lost to Arlington in their matchups. The boys suffered a shutout at home against the Spy Ponders 5-0 in favor of Arlington. The Lady Devils had a very close game, but they fell short by a score of 3-2. Freshman Haley Dorian picks up her first win playing third singles. Senior Madison Metzdorf wins once again as her individual matchup. She is now 12-0 on the season and quite the leader. Both teams will have a divisional matchup against the Wakefield Warriors on Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. The boys will play in Wakefield and the girls at Rohannes Park. Girls softball headed to Lexington High School to take on the Minutemen, where they outscored their opponent 12-2 in the victory. They hold an 8-1 record on the season. The Lady Devils will play at home against Melrose Red Raiders at 4 p.m. at Marvin Field. The Red Devils baseball team also lost to a strong Lexington team on Wednesday afternoon. The Minutemen had a shutout against the Red Devils. 11-0 was the final score. The team will travel to Wakefield Memorial to take on the Warriors on Monday at 4 p.m. Anyway, that is all for your weekly sports report. I'm Joe Viscione, and back to you guys in the studio.
Well, another week, another photo to highlight. This week we have a photo of a message meant to have people think about giving of themselves in the biggest way possible after they pass. It was taken by BCAT Executive Director Jen Dodge and shows a group of Donate Life flags in the shape of a heart on the grounds of Leahy Hospital and Medical Center. Donate Life is a nonprofit organization with the goal of increasing the number of organ donations to help save lives and improve people's living condition. They operate under the philosophy that donation is a fundamental human responsibility. Well, we'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and you'd like to share, please email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org and with the subject line, Photo of the Week. Well, that does it for the news today. Thank you for watching and join us again next week for BNEWS Weekly.